of Atomic Habits by James Clear. Right. So today we're going to be looking at chapter 7, which is titled The Secret to Self-Control. If you have seen the thumbnail, it says, Stop Fighting Temptation. Okay. So instead of fighting temptation, instead of building your self-control, how else can you break bad habits? How else can you deal with temptation? We're going to find out very shortly. In 1971, as the Vietnam War was heading into its sixth year, Congressman Robert Steele from Connecticut and Morgan Murphy from Illinois made a discovery that stunned the American public. They visited the troops, the soldiers, and learned that over 15% of US soldiers stationed in Vietnam were heroin addicts. So they did a follow-up research, and they also discovered that 35% of service members in Vietnam had tried heroin at one point or the other, and as many as 20% were still addicted. So the problem was even worse than they had initially thought. And this stunned the entire America, right? The entire public. The discovery now made them to come up with like a rehab center to say, okay, when the soldiers return from Vietnam back to America, they were going to go through some drug prevention measures. They were going to be rehabilitated, and they were going to track addicted service members when they return home, look for ways to help them so that they would stop being addicted to heroin. So they actually found out that when the soldiers returned to America, some of them got re-addicted, like 5% of them became re-addicted, and only 12% of them relapsed within 3 years. In other words, 9 out of 10 soldiers who used heroin in Vietnam eliminated their addiction nearly overnight. It was a drastic change. Once they returned from Vietnam and they got to America, they stopped taking heroin, the addiction was gone, right? And it was now discovered that this thing that we thought was going to be so, when they return, have to take them through a bit of a complex process, make them to change their ways, stop these bad habits, destroy this addiction in them. They thought that it was actually a reversible condition, contrary to what they had thought, that once you become a heroin addict, it is more of a permanent condition. But the soldiers proved that, okay, it was something that could be stopped overnight. And this was exactly what happened. It was simply a change in environment. So once the soldiers left Vietnam, where they were fighting war, and they got back to America, they got into a new environment. Now, this new environment does not have the cues, the hints, the triggers that made them take heroin. Some of them became addicted to heroin in Vietnam at the war front because they were stressed, they were lonely, there was anxiety, and even those that were not taking heroin before, because they were all together most of the time. So once they spot anybody taking heroin, it was very easy for somebody to start playing with it, and before they knew it, the person too would become addicted. So the environment, more or less, made them become addicts in the first place. And now that there is a change in environment, the addiction was gone. It was as simple as that. So it was simply a change of environment. There was no more triggers, no more cues for heroin. The pressure, the association that made them take it was not there. This means that once the context changed, the habits changed as well. This is the same thing with somebody who is a drug user, right? But this may not be exactly the situation with this person, because once somebody is a drug user, you take the person from the environment, from the neighborhood where the person is influenced and pushed into drugs. You take the person to a rehabilitation center, you do all kinds of things, you give all kinds of treatments and all of that. And once the person is done with the treatment, you return the person back to the old environment. So before you know it, the person is back to drug addiction. That is a very wrong strategy. They are back to the same environment where there are triggers, where there are cues, where the bad influences that made them to start doing drugs in the first place still exists, right? So typically 90% of heroin users become addicted once they return home from rehab. You can't take somebody back to the same, you have to change the environment completely. That's why that is one of the secrets to self-control. So you know that once you go and visit somebody, you are likely to commit sin. So instead of going there and fighting temptation, avoid going to that environment in the first place. It is as simple as that. Some of us think that, oh, we have some superpowers. Once I get there, I'm going to control myself. I'm going to be so disciplined. I'll make sure I don't do it. I'll make sure I don't drink. I'll make sure I don't fornicate. I'll make sure I don't, say hurtful things. You get there and you're trying so hard not to do those things, right? You're expending all your energy, your willpower. Try not to do it. When in actual sense, you would have spent a little energy just staying in fact, no energy required. Just stay in your house. Just stay at home. You know that once you go to that party, you're going to do all kinds of things that you really do not want to do. So why go in the first place? You're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. Then you come back, you become so hurt, you become so depressed that you have failed yourself again. This is one thing we all must realize, right? Sometimes we feel that, oh, for you to break a bad habit, that is like cultural belief. Now, you must be disciplined. So we see people who are struggling with bad habits as people who lack discipline, who lack self-control, who are even bad people. That is a conventional belief, right? The cultural belief. But in actual sense, it is not because of this. It is just because of the environment. You cannot put a fish inside water and expect the fish not to swim. This fish is going to swim. You can't put somebody in the same environment where they have all the cues, all the triggers, all the bad association, all the bad friends, and all of that. Like somebody who is a alcoholic. You keep putting alcoholic drinks in front of the person, and then you expect the person not to be tempted to drink. The person is going to drink. It is as simple as that. So sometimes you just need to structure your life in a way that does not require you to exercise so much willpower to fight, So spend less time in tempting situations. It is simple. When you go there, instead of sitting down, allowing them to offer you a drink or food and to tempt you with all kinds of things, maybe you are told to go and deliver a message your mom has sent you as a teenager, and you know that once you get there, there's going to be a problem. So once you get there, just stay at the door. My mom said I should bring this, drop it and run. I like the Bible so much. The Bible says, flee all appearance, Abby? Yes, all appearances of evil. Flee temptation, flee, 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 flee. You can't stay there and be caressing it and be massaging it and be toiling with it and expect yourself not to fall into it. I think this is wisdom for me. So it's easier to practice self-restraint when you don't have to use it all the time. Why do you have to fight yourself all the time? I won't do it, I won't do it, I won't do it. When in actual sense, you can actually discipline yourself by creating a more disciplined environment, even if it is within your own house. You put all kinds of things that can trigger your bad habits. You put frames, you load your fridge with alcohol, you say, oh, it's not for you, it's going to be for your guests, right? Or you put sugar, you put all kinds of sweet things when you're trying to watch your weight. Then you load your fridge with all kinds of cookies, chocolates. Tell me, you will keep going to that fridge and say, oh, let me just pick one. It's just one. Before you know it, you are eating 10. Don't buy it in the first place. Sometimes if I don't want to take any fizzy drink, I don't buy it. Once I buy it and it's at home, I'll be tempted to take it. But once it is not at home, I know that the only option I have is to take water. So you just have to discipline yourself. Once a habit becomes encoded, the urge to act follows whenever environmental cues appear. So sometimes some habits don't go away. You may discipline yourself and dump the habits for a while, but they may not entirely go away. It may become unused for quite a while, and then you will win for as long as the environment is suitable. But if you take yourself to an environment that will remind you of that old habits, you may likely fall into that temptation again. So bluntly put, I have never seen someone consistently stick to positive habits in a negative environment. You cannot be fighting one habit. You are trying to, which example now? To cut down on the amount of TV that you watch, for example. Yet there's TV in your bedroom, there's TV in your sitting room, there's TV in your kitchen, there's TV everywhere, right? You have to discipline yourself. Take a hard step to remove at least maybe 2 of them. Leave only the one in the sitting room. That is it. Just discipline yourself. A more reliable approach is to cut bad habits off at the source. Don't even allow it to take roots. See, in life, we have to keep fighting different things. You will fight temptation, you will fight negative mindset, you will fight negative thoughts, you will fight all kinds of things. The same way, fight to make sure that your environment is conducive to the good habits that you want to promote, and that your environment is toxic, so to speak, to the bad habits that you want to detach from. So if you can't seem to get any work done, leave your phone in another room for a few hours. You can't say, oh, I'll hold my phone, I'll hold my phone. It will tempt you. You'll be tempted to go on social media when you're supposed to be working. Leave it somewhere. Make sure your work environment does not have any distraction. If you are continually feeling like you are not enough, you feel jealous, you feel like, oh, you are less of yourself, then stop following social media accounts that trigger jealousy and envy. People will only post by posh cars, even though the cars may not be for them. They'll make you feel like your hustle is not enough, like they are doing better. Stop following them. It is as simple as that. Block them, unfollow them. See, you have this willpower. Use it to your advantage. Every time you open social media, you are the one following this same account, yet they will get you depressed. Why? You use your own data, your phone, to hurt yourself. If you are wasting too much time watching television, move the TV out of the bedroom. Move it. Make your environment conducive. If you are spending too much money on electronics, quit reading reviews of the latest tech gear. Some people will say, oh, I'm not going to buy any more clothes. I have more than enough. Yet you will go for window shopping. From window shopping, oh, let me pick one. Let me pick 2. From there, you picked 10 of clothes that you don't need, and you're wondering where all your money is gone. Don't go at all. There are times that I would discipline. I'm not going for that trade fair. I'm not going for any shopping. And that is it. I won't go, because once I go, I love shopping a lot. I must definitely see something to pick. So I'd rather sit in my house instead of going there and fighting the temptation to buy. If you are playing too many video games, unplug the console and put it in a closet after each use. So you have your destiny in your own hands. This is what it simply means. Make your environment what you want it to be, right? This practice is an inversion of the first law of behavior change, which says rather make it obvious. So here we're saying the good habits, make it obvious, but the bad habits you want to cut off, the temptation you want to get out of the way, make it invisible. If you don't see it, you will likely not remember, and if you don't remember, you will not be tempted. You cannot be craving what you don't see all the time. Out of sight will be out of mind for you. I'm often surprised by how effective simple changes like this can be. Remove a single cue, a single trigger, and the entire habit often fades away. Self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term one. You may be able to resist temptation once or twice, but it is unlikely you can muster the willpower to override it all the time, every single time. It means that you are going to be stressing yourself. Oh, when I get there, I will not drink, I will not smoke, I will not commit any sin. You escape it the first time, the second time. It's a lie. You will soon fall into it. The trick is not to go at all. That self-control that you want to go and exercise there. Exercise it in your house. Exercise that self-control to make you sit back at home, or exercise that self-control to remove anything that can tempt you even within your own environment, your house, your office, whatever. Instead of summoning a new dose of willpower whenever you want to do the right thing, your energy would be better spent optimizing your environment. This is the secret of self-control. This is the secret to self-control. Make the cues of your good habits obvious and the cues of your bad habits invisible. It is as simple as that. You cannot have a TV in your office and then you expect not to be tempted to go on Netflix, to watch movies, to check YouTube and all of that. Make it invisible and the bad habits will be gone. Now, what is this chapter talking about? Let's look at the 5 summaries very quickly. The inversion of the first law of behavior change is make it invisible. Number 2, once a habit is formed, it is unlikely to be forgotten. It may be unused for a while, but you may hardly forget it. The reason why you are not falling into it is because it is not anywhere around you. You are not seeing it. Right? So don't even make yourself see any cue that will trigger that bad habit. Number 3, people with high self-control tend to spend less time in tempting situations. It is easier to avoid situation than to resist it. You know that you will want to steal money. Then you are saying they should put you in the vault where there is a lot of money. Right? Tell them, see, I cannot be a cashier in this place. Give me another role. Abi? Number 4, one of the most practical ways to eliminate a bad habit is to reduce exposure to the cue that causes it. And number 5, self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long one. You cannot always rely on self-control. The best thing is to work on your environment, optimize your environment to promote your good habits. Thank you so much. I really enjoy reviewing this chapter. It is practical, it is easy, yet effective. Right. Please don't forget to like this video, share your comments with me in the comment section below, and please subscribe to this channel. In case you're yet to subscribe, I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady. And on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. We'll come together again tomorrow by God's grace as we review the second law of behavior change, which says make it attractive. And from there, we'll take chapter 8, titled How to Make a Habit Irresistible. Until then, be intentional. Bye. Welcome, you're welcome, everybody. Amen.